All right, people. You guys are watching another Nomadic Cole live stream. On YouTube. So, if you haven't already, be sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, share, and of course, subscribe for more epic, awesome, cool, funny content just like this one right here, right now, on the Nomadic Cole YouTube channel, because this shit is for your entertainment, people. That's right, people. This shit is for your entertainment. So again, be sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, share, and subscribe for more. Today we've got some Nomadic news to get into, guys. We've got quite a few subjects to actually go over. I know I haven't done a Nomadic news in a while, actually. So I kind of wanted to get one done this month because, we've had a lot of big events actually happen just recently in the news that I wanted to talk about. So one of the big events that happened recently has been in the WWE. For those who don't know, in the WWE, what happened pretty recently is that it has been announced that John Cena is going to be joining the Royal Rumble. He announced this on Raw. They are actually having their very first They actually had their very first Netflix show the other night. So Monday Night Raw has moved to Netflix. The WWE is actually, unfortunately, planning on getting rid of the Attitude Era, essentially by going away from with Peacock, which is their old platform. Now the WWE is moving to Netflix, and all they're going to have on Netflix is a few WrestleManias, I heard. And then all it's going to be, they're going to delete a bunch of the old Raws, and now it's like a new era now. They're just restarting from right now, and going forward, it's going to be episode after episode of WWE Monday Night Raw. Rexus Prime is here in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. He says hello. What's up, Rexus Prime? How's it going? But yeah, so anyways, John Cena, he plans to wrestle in the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble could be his last match, to be honest, because he's old, okay? He's like, he knows he's at the end of his career. He talks about that in his promo, that he's pretty much at the end of his career, but that he's going to give it one last shot by joining the Royal Rumble. So what do you guys think? I mean, maybe John Cena will win the Royal Rumble. That would be interesting for the storyline. I feel like he probably will, and that's because WWE they want him to be regarded as one of the greats of all time. So they're going to have him get that third Royal Rumble victory and tie Stone Cold's record, and I don't really agree with that. I mean, I just feel like it would just be very canned, if you ask me. It would seem very campy, by the WWE. Very obvious to go for. Maybe they'll twist it. I don't know. But we're just going to have to see. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments here in the chat or below. In other news, I mentioned last time in the last video, if you haven't seen it already, the NFL Sports Report, is that the Dallas Cowboys season is officially over. We've gone 7-10. We have, the Dallas Cowboys, They've gone 7-10. They missed the playoffs. They just lost their final game. It was a close-ish sort of game where Trey Lance had very mediocre play. There was a few good throws that he had in there and some scrambling. But other than that, he was not getting the ball into the end zone. He had constant trouble in the red zone. And he was getting stopped pretty often. And a lot of his throws were inaccurate. He often overshot and undershot the throws. He had a throw that was almost picked off. Could have been a 6. Not a great game. Didn't score at all. All he did was do a handoff, and handoff made into the end zone. And then on the other side of the field with the Washington Commanders, Marcus Mariota had a great game and outplayed Jaden Daniels on a half of football. Jaden Daniels couldn't get the ball moving at all unless he was handing it off. He did a little trickery in one play, and that was it. Jaden Daniels did not look great, but Marcus Mariota did. Marcus Mariota threw for 2 touchdowns, one to Zach Ertz, the other to Scary Terry McLaurin to win the game. And he also rushed for a touchdown as well. Dallas Cowboys apparently right now are going to get the 12th pick in the draft. So Jerry Jones has essentially used up all our really good draft picks, So we just have a bunch of hodgepodge of crappy draft picks, and we need to make moves in free agency, and they need to make moves as far as coaching goes, because Mike McCarthy, he's got to go. The Bears have asked to take Mike McCarthy, and the Joneses haven't responded yet. So, I don't know, man. This franchise is fucked. It's fucked. But yeah, next week's games, there's a couple games. The Lions actually took the first seed in the NFC. Like, the Lions were just amazing this year. They just completely shredded everyone, pretty much. I mean, let's just look at the Lions record. They went 15-2. That is superb play for the Detroit Lions. They, the Lions are, they're crushing. Rexus says, all I know is that I'm subscribed to Synthetic Man. People claim he's wakeist, and yet he doesn't hate minorities. He's just calling out the racist philosophy and representation pushed by wokeness. Yeah, bro. I just think wokeness is just so campy. Oh my goodness. There's so many people on like Facebook and stuff that, they're just woke SJW Karens, and they complain and cry all the time, and they call you names, and they use these ad hominem smear attacks. It's crazy. It's crazy. I hate the culture war. I hate wokeness, and like if you say anything that's contrary to the modern mainstream narrative, they just call you a Trumper and a Republican. I'm an independent. You see the hat I'm wearing? I don't know if it's backwards on stream or whatever, but it says "Make America Healthy Again." I'm an independent. Thanks, Mom, for getting me this hat. It's great. Um, you know, it's insane that it's so divided. You know, everything is just so divided. People have no sense of nuance. You're either a woke toid SJW, neckbeard smart, right? Or you're, you know, a Republican MAGA, you know, nut job, right? Like that's what they always like. That's people how people think. Um, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that these talking heads on TV have convinced these people the world is just black and white. Part of the problem is the cultural zeitgeist buying into that shit. Yeah, the cultural zeitgeist. I watched some of your videos, and I like the idea of this cultural zeitgeist, because that's how you explain the culture war. We have this culture that's it's just contaminated, you know. It's just a culture that's like, it's destroyed, you know. We like everything we do these days is like owned by like these big corporations, and it's, you know, it's all like art is basically dead, because every time I go to the movie theaters, you know, I look at like the movies on the side of the movie theaters, and the movies are all just reruns of the same shit. Like they just released like a whole crap ton of reruns of just other movies, like sequels of just, you know, already established franchises that have been in the mainstream for decades now. You know, they bring back old video games, like they're doing the Minecraft movie. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Minecraft movie. They're doing the Minecraft movie, and it's just trash. It's literally just brain rot on a screen that they're showing the audience. Like, it's literally just brain rot. Like, the only funny moment that they put in there that is like actually genuinely funny that they put in the ad is, it's just a stolen meme. It's when Jack Black comes up to the mines and he says, "Ever since I was a child, I yearned for the mines," and it's just a reference to that meme that is you know, in the 1930s we outlawed child labor, and now in 2024 it's the children, they love their game Minecraft, therefore the children yearn for the mines. You know, it's that meme, and it's pretty funny, but at the same time, you're literally just using a meme as your joke for the movie, and you bring in Jason Momoa and you have him like cross-dress, and then there's Jack Black, who's just like, you know, ever since he came out for Kamala Harris, like, he's just like, his respect is just tanked, you know? His respect is tanked. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's crazy. But yeah, I get the whole thing about the cultural zeitgeist. I get the whole thing about it. Get the whole spiel. Yeah, I have some other news to talk about as well. In the natural world, we actually just recently had some news. There was a volcano eruption actually in Hawaii, and it lasted a few days actually. Um, the whole caldera was basically filled to the brim with lava, and there was lava spouting up to 300 feet high. But all it was pretty much just a pretty light show for the tourists. It brought in a crap ton of tourism, and there was a few earthquakes here and there, but nothing really significant. No real damage at all, and in fact, it just gave a bunch of very cool opportunities for photography and for some geology to be taught to the public, which is very nice. There's a reason why I love the death of in Rome band, despite the fact they have Italian aesthetics from the 1940s, and yet they say art over politics. I respect that. I mean, yeah, I guess so. I don't know who that band is that much, so I need to listen to some of their music, I suppose. But yeah, I know you like that that sort of super hard metal type of music, dude. We've got some lo-fi, by the way, guys, playing in the back stream. So again, leave a like for lo-fi. Hell yeah. And we're just getting started with the news, by the way. I've got a few articles actually that I wanted to bring up. One of which is this. This is from Newsmax, by the way, guys. Is that Mike Pence? He commends Harris on certifying the 2024 election. Mike Pence says it's the hallmark of our democracy, and the actions are inspirable. Here's what I'd say: Kamala Harris had to do what the people wanted, because the people had voted overwhelmingly against her. Okay, Kamala Harris is the reason they lost. Because what they did is they basically shoved her into the picture. They crammed her in. She was the worst vice president ever, is what they were saying before they shoehorned her in. And then you couldn't find a bad article about her. You couldn't find nothing like that. And she'd go on and do these rallies where there'd be, you'd hear about there being tons of celebrities there. You'd hear about like Beyonce and Taylor Swift at the Kamala rallies, right? Fucking Lil Uzi Vert or whatever. Fucking Nicki Minaj, right? The Obamas, obviously. Bill Clinton would show up. Eventually when the vice president came, and Tim Walz would always be there. Hillary Clinton would be chilling out there, and basically, they brought in all these big names, but that's all they really had to go off of. Like, oh, look at this actor. He will tell you he will play the Captain America guy that you like. He will tell you that you should vote for the Cackleberry. Megan Thee Stallion, yeah, remember them all shaking their butts on stage. Oh my goodness. Dude. Yeah, they were, They bring these people that like know absolutely nothing about politics. Taylor Swift, crying to mommy, crying about Donald Trump basically, and going to Kamala Harris probably for a big sum of money, because Kamala Harris ended up spending 1.7 billion, I believe, is what the number was. It was an insane amount of money. $1.7 billion was spent in literally 3 months of campaigning. They had her ads all over YouTube. I remember there was like a few days, like right before the election, you couldn't watch any political video on YouTube without getting a Kamala ad shoved in your face. It was crazy. Yeah, on Instagram it was worse. You'd just be scrolling through reels and you'd suddenly get Kamala Harris's, page or whatever. And yeah, and then the comment sections were an absolute war. Yeah, I think that but I just feel like Kamala Harris's her ingenuous, she's just ingenuous. She's not genuous. She's, she basically sticks to a script and she kind of morphs to whatever the corporate party wanted her to be. And doing that, she ended up losing a lot of that, like socialist vote. Actually, a lot of these really woke SJWs on the very far left actually didn't like Kamala Harris because of the Israel-Palestine issue, and they ended up voting for Jill Stein or staying home or voting for Dr. Cornel West. And then they also pushed away the Kennedy voters because you had all these old school sort of like Bill Maher type Democrats, and like hippies and stuff who typically vote Democrat, and RFK Jr. actually attracted their attention, rallied all like these hippies and old school Democrats and independents and libertarians, and kind of created his own coalition, right? And then the Democrats, they destroyed that basically by kicking him out of the primaries, by way of rigging their primaries against all comers against Joe Biden because they were trying to prop him up, this dead guy. And yeah, and he ended up basically, it basically ended up that he was too senile to actually do anything. So quickly they shoved in Kamala Harris, and she was so ingenuous and pushed away all these voters. She's already repulsive and appalling to Kennedy voters, so I didn't see them ever, picking up that coalition. And then Kennedy eventually went over, shut down his campaign, and threw his support behind Donald Trump. And that was enough to tip the scales to get Donald Trump over and have such a huge, massive landslide victory. But yeah, I mean, it was the people's will to have Donald Trump in. So obviously, the elected official, you have to certify that election. If Kamala Harris doesn't certify that election, she basically starts a civil war in the country. Everyone flips the fuck out. People storm. It would be worse than the anniversary of 4 years ago of yesterday's date. It'll be worse than that. So obviously she has a certified election. She does. Mike Pence is clapping for her, basically saying, "Good job, good job." Another thing I want to bring up as well is with the RFK Maha movement. Main thing is RFK Jr. has actually recently, you might not have seen a lot of his content around because, well, he just hasn't been posting much content because he's actually been in Washington, D.C. talking to all the senators. Now, here's the big thing. He's talking to them about getting on board with the Make America Healthy movement. Rick Dragon is in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, and he says, "Rawr." Yar! Mike Pence is such a... I don't know how to spell that. MAGA all the way, bro. It's Maha time, bro. Make America Healthy again time. You're just in time to hear it though. Is that RFK Jr.'s been over in the at the Capitol speaking to all the senators. It sounds to me like Bernie Sanders, John Fetterman, they may be on board with at least some of what the Maha movement is saying. Now, a lot of these Karens and SJWs on Facebook, they don't like that, so they go off. They cite these crappy smear articles that they heard from CNN and MSNBC and Vogue and fucking Vox and what's that other one? BuzzFeed, right? And you know they cite these terrible, you know, smear articles, and they don't actually listen to the actual arguments that are being made. The arguments being made being that there is problems with the healthcare system, that the healthcare system needs significant reform, that there is actually agency capture that has gone on in the Department of Health and Human Services, that, you know, maybe the mandates of forcing everyone to do something medically to their body and to present information to non-medical professionals is a bad thing. You know, not just, you know, just for the economy in general, you know, to just cut people off from society. You know, maybe these forced, you know, martial law shutdowns, not a good idea. And that there's better ways to actually improve our health, because we do actually have a very bad chronic disease epidemic going on. You know, it's like, what is that, around 70% of people are obese now? That's a problem. And the problem with that is seed oils and chemicals in the food, which RFK Jr. talks about. It's red 40 dyes. It's, you know, all these very cancerous things that they put in all the sugary foods and candies and all this. You know, get you addicted and hooked on McDonald's. Shoes of a Champion says, fuck Joe Biden. Yeah. Fuck Joe Biden. He sucks. You know, it's all these things they put in the candy and the junk food and the McDonald's that people seem to be addicted to these days. That is essentially destroying everyone's, you know, health. We have the disease of the machine. Gained 10 pounds in Florida. Too much cholesterol. Good stuff. Need too much junk food. You can't be eating all that junk food. You gotta get healthy, man. That's my New Year's resolution. Actually, is I'm doing basically a 21-day fast. From like McDonald's, pretty much. Yeah, so no McDonald's. Oh, and also no spicy Takis either. and less coffee. Because guess what? We're going to make America healthy again. And here's the other news that RFK Jr. has talked to all these senators. He says Thorodin is an Old Norse word. It means the curse. It is also used as an insult. Okay, gaze. The curse. Comfy. Ah. Hold on. Had some technical difficulty there for a second, folks. Had to get this charger back in. So yeah, we have Drake Dragon says comfy. I think you misspelled the word, bro. Yeah. In other news today, with we had Joe Biden actually do something that basically crippled the economy. If you don't know, Joe Biden basically has taken out an old law from the 1950s and is reinstating this law. Basically, what it's going to do is saying that he is shutting down oil and gas wells on all the coasts in America. So he's shutting down offshore drilling in all of the coasts of America. And unfortunately, with this law instated, it basically means that Donald Trump actually can't do an executive order to overturn it. So if he wants to overturn it, he's going to have to go through the traditional means of the House and the Senate to overturn Joe Biden's reinstating of the old law, and then using the powers granted within that old law to shut down the offshore drilling. Fucking Joe, those illegals need to go. Yeah, that's another huge problem. Is the illegal immigration at the border is every day. It's an everyday thing. I'm sure you're aware of it. They're constantly hopping the southern border, and it's actually really bad because there's a lot of things that get in and out which shouldn't be. There's human trafficking rings. There's drugs and weapons that come in and out of that southern border, and it needs to be shut down. I think Donald Trump can do it. I think he'll probably use the powers of executive orders to actually get that accomplished. But unfortunately, as far as oil goes, we might have to wait a little bit before the oil prices just go down, because Joe Biden has essentially messed things up, tried to put a fork in Trump's plans to, basically drill, baby, drill. Now, there is a little bit of thing that I am worried about the drill, baby, drill, and that is because by appointing Lee Zeldin, who is a oil tycoon, to the EPA, how much he says he wants to do deregulation of oil, which is obviously how you're going to spur up the free market. But the question is, how many regulations are going to be repealed. Um, there are definitely actually plenty of workers' rights regulations, environmental OSHA regulations that actually should and be followed in order to not basically destroy our environment and have another Gulf of Mexico problem like we did way back in the day when that oil well exploded and basically filled the entire Gulf of Mexico with oil and yeah, basically killed a lot of sea life. A similar thing happened in Russia. I believe that was war caused. That an oil well also out over there, um, because of the Russo-Ukraine war, blew up an oil well, and because that's going on, only the local community was able to actually uh, help with the process. And then a bunch of agencies, obviously from the Western world, are going to have to go over there and clean up that mess. But yeah, how much is Lee Zeldin going to deregulate is the question. I don't know. That's what we're going to have to be weary about. There's obviously regulations that are going to have to stay. But yeah, I do think that Joe Biden shutting off all the offshore drilling, he did this on purpose to stop the, put a fork in Trump's drill baby drill plan. But yeah, back to Kennedy for a second. Kennedy was obviously in the Senate talking to all those senators, and according to reports, one of the reports that brought this up, I believe it was Breitbart, actually did one of those reports, and they said that Kennedy may have the votes needed to actually become the Secretary of Health and Human Services, which is very exciting news. So we need to look when is the actual court date going to be. Probably going to be after Donald Trump is elected, is sworn into president, most likely. Because that's just how this usually works. So yeah, we have to, get excited, really get excited about the potential to get him in, get him appointed for the position, which he does have to go through the Senate confirmation process. Now, unfortunately, there are actually people that are trying to stop him from getting there. Drake Dragon says, can't wait. There's unfortunately people trying to stop them from getting there. Why Governor Josh Green has announced that he's going over to the Senate to speak to the Senate and give his medical position on why RFK Jr. shouldn't be appointed. And I have actually gone and signed a petition against this. Need to see if I can link that petition somehow to the chat. Yeah, I would say the main websites definitely to go to is we have there's looks like there's petitions on change.org actually to ban potentially harmful food additives in Virginia and to make America healthy again. Now, there's a couple other petitions as well. There's one of which that I signed. This one. MahaAction.com. And if you go to mahaaction.com/petitions, I will post it out here for people to see. If you go to this website here, mahaaction.com/petitions, then there's a litany of petitions you can go and sign on to. One of which petition to ban artificial food dyes. Another of which is petition to support Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s appointment to lead the Department of Health and Human Services. So if you haven't already, check out these two petitions here on mahaaction.com. And of course on change.org, check out this ban potentially harmful food additives petition if you want to take action. But yeah, I signed this petition and I signed another petition which was against Josh Green in going over to the U.S. Senate and speaking against RFK. Lexus Prime says currently building a C and MC Xbox One edition. My Wi-Fi is down with exception to my phone or C port. Oh. Looks like some technical difficulties. In other news, Donald Trump recently has actually been saying that he wants to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. The thing is, I just don't see how that's very relevant. He's also bolstering claims about wanting to buy Canada and buy Greenland, which is really interesting. He's saying that he wants to do that for national security reasons. Now, there's a lot of implications with that. You gain a lot of land mass, and in exchange for that, you'd also likely gain a bunch of new taxpayers as well. And then you basically conquer basically. You'd basically conquer this whole half of the hemisphere completely in doing so. So there's a lot of advantages, I'd say, to doing that. But then you have to wonder how expensive it is. What is the price that comes with taking up all this land? And would we overexpand ourselves? Because we see in history, when empires expand to a point that they can no longer take reach, and America is very expansionist throughout its history. When the empire expands too much, it often fractures and falls apart. So, I mean, we'll have to see. But I think these are very bold, bolsterous claims by Donald Trump. A lot of hype going into them. I'm just not sure how realistic it is. You're not conquering your union. You're unionizing. I mean, technically, it would just be a purchase, like the Louisiana Purchase. It'd be one of America's largest purchases to do it, to make Canada. Should be the 51st state. Well, Justin Trudeau is actually resigning from his position, by the way, in Canada. Justin Trudeau is resigning from his position as Prime Minister. He's going to be in office for a little bit longer. And then he says the Liberal Party is going to select a new speaker for the party. And then they will like shoehorn them in, basically. We have so much trade with them. Conquering is fucking hashtag taking over by force, not even speaking our language. Yeah. But the thing is I don't think, you see, it doesn't matter if you're acquiring it, because you're still taking over the land. When I'm using conquering, I'm just using it in the context of conquest as the land that you're actually gathering, right? What Donald Trump's planning on doing is just purchasing the land outright. Now, question is our economy strong enough? We're in an extreme amount of debt. We don't want to be spending massively on purchasing a huge amount of land. We don't want to be spending such a large quantity of our money. Now, Donald Trump, because the plan should be to decrease the spending of the federal government. Donald Trump needs to remove there's going to be a bunch of talk about potentially making an agency to remove other agencies, which, according to Dr. Ron Paul, Doge in itself is almost paradoxical, because you're creating a government agency with the intent of removing spending. So you need to put money up front for the new agency to allocate resources to it, and give them a budget, obviously, so they can actually accomplish their job with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. Then it says buying assets, as always, a good investment. Actually, you do, you're taking over. If all I hear is Spanish when American is the number one language. Feeling at home is not. Well, I mean, you're right that buying assets is a good investment. And yeah, like I said earlier, there's the contrast of, yeah, you're gaining new taxpayers to put money into the federal government. Problem is, how much is, what is the deal going to be? How much are they willing to buy and sell for? You have to speak to the Dutch. You have to speak to, obviously, the Canadians themselves. There's a lot of factors just going into it. SpaceX is doing very well in Florida. Yeah, they're doing pretty good. There's a lot of good things coming out of SpaceX. Speaking of Elon Musk, looking for engineers in Cape Canaveral. Yeah, I think it's very interesting to see what's going on with Doge, though, because we're I'm kind of wondering what they're going to do. Like, how are they going to go in as a separate government agency and order the removal of other agencies, and have them be fired by Trump, essentially. Very interesting. Because there is a crap ton of wasted resource from government agencies, like the ATF, for example. I think the IRS could be cut down, maybe. I don't know, man. They should be definitely downsized. ATF and IRS. They should probably be downsized. Doge already found like 1.9 trillion of garbage spending. Yeah, if they can get like $1 trillion, if they can get a few $100 billion, I think that's ultimately a net good in cutting spending. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of waste, especially with these DEI programs. I've noticed is that these whole DEI hiring programs, where you have to, acquire, assets for videos and whatnot to train employees, having a lot of just like computer droids that could be replaced with, AI, basically. You have a lot of wasteful spending. I think you're right about that. So yeah, I'm not surprised. Yep, I'm not surprised about 1.9 trillion of wasted spending. And also, here's another thing. Doge is got tech back then. Yeah, they do. Something we didn't have in the 90s. You know what we do also have, though? Something that we do have that is going to be good as well is the new rise in free speech with technology. Because guess what? Mark Zuckerberg just announced, the owner of Facebook and Instagram, just announced that he's removing the censorship from these platforms. He's going to do a similar thing that Elon Musk did with X. It seems to be the idea he's following. He's getting rid of all these Joe Biden era restrictions that were on the platform. Seems like he's either spoken with Trump or he's probably most likely spoken with Trump himself. Seems like he's spoken with Trump, and he doesn't want to be on no Epstein or Diddy list. Maybe he is. Maybe he's trying to save his butt. But it seems like he's respecting the authority. Basically, kind of bending the knee down to Trump, and because he doesn't want to go to jail. He doesn't want to go to jail. Either that, or maybe he's actually made the flip and actually likes Trump now. Maybe. But it seems like, it seems now, but according to what Mark Zuckerberg said, a lot of the old restrictions are going to get lifted, and we're going to have a lot more free speech on the internet. Trump buying Canada will probably make Marl happy. It most likely won't make his liberal members in his server happy. They don't like him because they bought into the lies surrounding him. Not really sure. I've been keeping up with the Marl situation, Rex, to be honest. What lies did they tell about him? Trying to figure out more about the Marl situation. Lies by the mainstream media that they got into. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. So how does that work? How do you have like a bunch of social justice warriors and like Trump supporters server? Seems interesting. Yeah, Trump seems like he's doing a little bit of trolling with this whole Canada and Greenland purchasing idea. I think a lot of it is trolling, if you ask me, because it's the left is gonna like completely freak out if Trump actually puts like an offer down. That'd be pretty hilarious. The mainstream media already they're already talking a whole bunch about it. Just wait till they see. Wait till he's president, and if he actually tries to do it, oh my gosh, the media's gonna go ablaze. Yeah, that's pretty much all the news that I have today, to be honest. Yeah, if I missed anything, let me know. Canada is doing good with nuclear power. Yeah, it seems like they're doing pretty solid over there. I think it's a good asset. Hopefully, if it gets them to invest in nuclear energy, then maybe. So yeah, I mean it'll be interesting to see, especially because Canada's in a pretty terrible. It's a pretty terrible economic condition right now because of Trudeau's policies. He's just a lot of wasteful spending being done. Canada's just in a not in the greatest financial situation as shown, and that's why Trudeau's even stepping out now to basically put someone else in the spotlight. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what Donald Trump does as president for sure. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If I missed anything, let me know as well down here in the comments below the video when it goes up on YouTube. As just a video basically in the live stream section. But yeah, If you haven't already, be sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, share, and subscribe. And of course, thank you guys for showing up. This is the Nomadic Cole signing off. Goodbye.